Hi, this is Audrey, and this is week 3 of my garden update. Let's take a look at the progress of the plant so far. Last week we had a big rainstorm, and the dill kind of got flooded out. This is the only one that survived. You can kind of see the other ones that had grown. They got flattened by the rain, and they ended up wilting. So now I'm just going to plant a little bit more. I do have a few more seeds, trying to make sure that I don't disturb this one that's actually growing. So I just need to start over. Here's what the seeds look like. They're really small. And I just sprinkle them in here and cover them up. Then I'll water them later. Here's the cauliflower. They're coming along nicely, so I do want to take some out when they get bigger and put them in the back garden section. This is the pot that has thyme in it. I think that's a weed growing. I don't think I've seen any actual thyme seedlings coming in. I'm going to watch it a little bit more, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen that just in my yard. Here's the parsley. Here's the basil. Look how much growth this is from last week to this week. Here's the little, tiny little tomato plant coming in. Here's the other tomato plant coming in, the one that's in the pot. Here's the cilantro. Honestly, I think there's some weeds mixed in with the cilantro, but I think this one actually is cilantro right here. This is questionable. Here's the sage. Cabbage and cucumber. Here's the cucumber plant. As far as the cabbage goes, I don't know if there's anything growing. There's that, but I don't know if that's cabbage yet, so I'm just going to let it get a little bigger to see what it turns into. Here are the green beans. The peas. Here's the row with the greens. I had a variety of mustard, collard greens, I had Swiss chard, and I had some turnips. Here is the butternut squash section right here. I see two little things growing in right there. I don't know if it's squash or if it's weeds, so for now I'm just going to leave it. Here's the section that had the eggplant. I believe that's what this is growing. At least I hope that's what it is. Zucchini. This one looks a little wilted. I need to water. I watered this morning, but it's kind of hot out here, so I need to water again probably. I might get out here this evening and water again. Here's the yellow squash. Here's the broccoli section here. I don't see any signs of any kind of broccoli growing, any seedlings or anything. Here's the section where I planted the cabbage last week. I don't see any signs of anything growing. The day after I planted the cabbage, we ended up having a big rainstorm. So most of those seeds probably ended up getting washed away. This row had carrots. I see like little weed seedlings, but I don't see any actual carrots growing in. Here's the lettuce. As you can see, there is a lot right here. They're really bunched up. Just this one little section has lettuce. That lettuce, I think, was romaine lettuce here, but those are weeds growing. That's not lettuce back there. This was iceberg lettuce. Here's another section here of lettuce, but I can't remember what it was. I need to go back and check and see what I planted it in the first section. Here's where I planted the spinach. I only see this. Here are the other cucumber plants. A couple of things that I wanted to mention. The main garden area that's in the ground, I did not weed that area, and so a lot of the seedlings that are growing in, I honestly can't tell the difference between the seedlings, if they are seedlings, or if they're weeds growing in. So if I didn't want to weed, then one thing that I should have done was started them in maybe little cups or pots or something like I've done before, and then transplant them. Because now as they're growing in the ground, I can't tell the difference between some of them, honestly. And so I'm just gonna let everything just grow as is. I may just pull a few weeds and grass that I definitely know what it is here and there, but the other things I'm just gonna have to let it grow and see if it actually materializes to an actual plant. I went and picked up this all-purpose plant food from Walmart. It says it's good for flowers, vegetables, shrubs, and trees, and it feeds up to 3 months. For flowers and vegetables, it says you can use in the spring, summer, and fall. Spread evenly on the bed surface. Use 1.5 pounds of fertilizer per 100 square feet. I don't have that many plants, so I don't think I need to use that much. I'll just sprinkle a little around each plant. There is a risk of burning your plants if you use too much fertilizer, so I don't want to risk that. So I'm only just going to use a little. I don't know what happened to all the footage that I had of me using the plant food. Essentially what I did was just get a handful of the plant food and just sprinkled a little around each plant. So that's pretty much all I did. In the past, I have taken the time to clear the whole area out, make neat little rows, and plant everything and spread out. The fertilizer that I was using was manure, so I spread all that stuff out and mixed it up real good. I did have a few plants that did actually grow pretty good. A lot of the plants that I planted ended up not growing, and I kind of felt like that work was for nothing. So this time I just didn't feel like getting out there and clearing it out. I'm thinking I'm going to plant some more seeds in cups like this and start the little seedlings, and then when they get a little bit bigger, then transplant them into the ground. I didn't do this time because I wanted the least amount of work that I had to do, but I'm noticing I don't have enough experience to identify the little seedlings growing in, so I'm just kind of guessing sometimes when I see what's growing. I know what I planted there, and I'm hoping that that's what it is and not a weed. So I think if I do it differently, I just won't take that shortcut anymore, and we'll just start seedlings first and then transplant them. A week two, we had unusual cool weather. It was in the upper 80s, lower 90s, and it was really nice. So this past week, though, we're right back to hot weather again. It's been in the mid 90s, mid to upper 90s. It hasn't hit 100 or anything, but today was like 97, I believe. It might not have been the official weather, but my thermometer read 97 today. It's still hot, but our evenings are cooler. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of this video, and I'll see you next week. Bye.